Rinker Fiesta V project boat had been kept in salt water, and as such, had a bunch of barnacles on it. I had researched several products and found the one that seemed to be most effective was something called Barnacle Buster. Its active ingredient was phosphoric acid, and it looked like it was pretty expensive. I was walking through the blue big box store and found concrete and metal prep, and strangely enough, the active ingredient was phosphoric acid. This was much cheaper than the other products, so I figured I'd give it a try. This was about $18 a gallon as compared to the other stuff, which was like $32 on Amazon and over $50 at our local marine store. I figured I would mix some up and then also add some Dawn dishwashing liquid just to give it a little bit more stickability to spray on the barnacles to see if it would work. Since it is an acid, I used some rubber gloves and tried spraying it on the barnacles all over the prop and the outdrive. I used it full strength and I sprayed it pretty liberally all over every surface I could find. The barnacles and the seashells and oyster shells that were encrusted onto the outdrive are mostly calcium, so as soon as I sprayed the acid on, it started to fizz right away, which I am assuming meant it was dissolving them. As you can see, the marine buildup was really thick inside of the props, and I thought it was actually prohibiting some water flow from going through because the engine was fine when it was idling, but when I would go to accelerate, I'd get an overheating alarm. As you can see, pretty much every place I sprayed this where there was a barnacle, it would fizz and foam up, which was pretty neat. I figured I would let it sit for a while and then try to spray it off with a power washer. I had already tried cleaning it one time with the washer, and some of the stuff came off, but barnacles have an incredibly strong cement on them, and they just weren't going to budge, so I figured acid was going to be what I needed. This was going to be kind of a time-consuming process where I would spray the acid, let it sit for a while, wash it off, and then spray more. It was going to take probably a couple of days, but I wasn't really in a hurry because I was working on other things. I also decided I wanted to take the props off, and I needed this specific prop wrench that has two different size heads on it. The first one is a smaller one, and then the second one's a really big one that took both of the props off of the Bravo 3 outdrive. When I pulled it off, you could see I had cleaned some of the debris out, but a lot of it was still cemented in there, and it was really blocking some of the water flow. I put a block of wood in there to keep the second prop from turning. It made it much easier to get the prop off. I don't know if I mentioned it was also about 100 degrees out. It seems like it's always about 100 degrees out when I'm working on the boat. Once I got the props off, I sprayed everything down with acid again, and then I went back to the power washer. Once I got more of the debris cleaned off, I looked at the outdrive a little bit more closely, and I noticed that I had some broken wires. Both of the trim tab sensor wires were broken, and 2 of the 3 ground wires for the anodes were broken. I couldn't tell because they were all covered with barnacles, but since we're going to keep the boat on the trailer, this shouldn't be a problem in the future. This is where I made a great discovery. I got a big bucket and put some of that phosphoric acid in there, and then put both of the props in to soak. Amazingly, overnight, they looked like they were brand new. It ate all of the marine life off of there. More importantly, all the water passages were clean. I just wanted to share a quick little tip I figured out, and hopefully it'll make your life easier. It's really good if you're able to soak your props in a bucket. And remember, just get a gallon of this concrete and metal prep. It's about $20.